We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And this is the Couples Academy Show, and you're tuning in for another great day for us to kind of have a conversation with you, get into a great dialogue. We're talking about many things. This week, how to survive a D- marriage, and D stands for destructive, an emotionally destructive marriage. We've been going through several points and covering it from different angles, and many of you have been resonating with it. We've gotten texts, we've gotten emails. We're going to share some things today that were really sobering conversations that I think we need to have. But listen, we're excited because today is the first day of the Couples Academy Marriage Retreat, the Audacity of Marriage Retreat here in Atlanta, Georgia. We have couples who have flown in from all over the country, different parts of the world, driving from far and near to be with us, to be impacted in an amazing way. Aren't you excited about what's happening?
I'm excited because it's where I really get to play a huge role and I get my creative juices going. I love to set up events and experiences for people, and so there's a lot of fun things happening. We told y'all to register. You were going to tear your shirt, you were going to gnash your teeth, and you are going to put ashes on your forehead because you missed this one. But the good news is that we have another one coming up in November. So just put that tentatively in the back of your head. You don't want to miss the next one. I also want to remind you guys to make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, because when we do that, we don't miss a show, okay? And when I say to do that, it's just not something to say, right?
It's something to do.
I really want you to do it. When you do it, I get notifications that you did it, and we know that our message is going out into the world where we want it to reach every corner so that we can begin to transform marriages all over. So make sure you do that.
And talking about transform marriages, let's go into a quick testimonial before we dive into today's topic, because some of you are watching this and saying, does this thing really work? I mean, do people really change? Can there be hope? If I have a D- marriage, can I turn it from a D- to an A? Well, let's talk about it. Take a look at this couple.
So we just finished a weekend with the Couples Academy, and before we entered into this weekend, we've been married for 5 years and basically together most of our lives for about 12 years. And I think through that time, you grow separately, you have a lot of disconnect. Communication was a big problem for us, and the monotony of every day. And when the kids came around, we have 2 beautiful daughters, but I kind of started centering my whole world around the 2 girls, and it could have been better for us. Different issues were coming up, and instead of just accepting that marriage and who we were, we wanted better. And I did a quick little Google search one day looking for something more than therapy, something different than a psychologist, and up came this website, and I emailed and said, can you guys recommend something? We're in Toronto, Canada. And they said, we're going to come down to you. And we met up in Mississauga, and we just finished a Couples Academy coaching, and it's been 3 days, and we're already seeing the results.
After going through the Couples Academy, it feels like a breath of fresh air. I feel liberated and free with my feelings, not just with myself, but more importantly, my feelings to share with my wife, which had ceased for a very long time. And it just feels amazing. I look at her and I see what I fell in love with when I was a little kid. And as much as I was not into doing this weekend, I am so happy that I did it. I feel rejuvenated, reinvigorated, rehabilitated, and I love the Couples Academy It's done wonders in 3 days, and we are going to continue with this because it's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's not just a weekend thing.
And I just want to say that instead of like, I guess like therapists will kind of like ask you, how do you feel? And they kind of have a laid back approach. The Couples Academy, like they give you tools and they walk you through the steps. They hold your hand. They really like mentor you through it. And it's just like nothing that we had ever experienced.
It teaches you how to problem solve. Identify the problem and now solve the problem.
Yeah.
And which is very encouraging.
So we're happy.
Yep, that's what it's all about, folks. It's all about, what you laughing for? I don't know. Yeah, it's over there. I don't know what you, but anyway, that's what transformation looks like. Madison, it's over here. Over here.
Sorry, guys. Production. All right.
Keep pressing buttons, girl.
More,
I'm trying to turn the
more,
fan up.
faster.
All right,
Forget it.
here we go. Never mind. We're back, folks. That's what happens when you're live. Anyway, listen. Yes, that's what happens. You can transform your life. One thing that I want to say is I appreciate you all for entrusting us with your relationships and being willing to make an investment in your future and coming down to the retreat center to get something done that's transformational. There are people who are watching this series this week. The texts, the emails have been coming through, and they've all been similar. I can't read them all, but I want to read one that I got last night, and I said, do I have permission to read this if I don't identify you? Because she had a question at the end of it. And so I'm just going to go ahead and read it. It says, good afternoon. I have been with my husband for 10 years total, but married for 3 of those years. Within the last 2 years, he gets very impatient with me if I don't move fast enough or if I don't actually do what he tells me to do. He disrespects me in front of whoever. It doesn't matter if it's the kids, the family, or friends. He's always right no matter what when he is wrong. He doesn't respect my opinion and totally disregards what I have to say, but has the audacity to get angry with me if I don't listen to him and take his advice. He talks about us being partners, but he doesn't share any financial information with me. He keeps half of his paycheck, and he never gives me half of it. He has his own separate cell phone bill, and I'm not allowed to answer his phone. He has all of his text messages blocked, so I cannot read any of them that show up. Also, his Facebook account has no picture of us, nor does he have any picture of me, only of his adult children. He thinks that he can leave and go wherever he likes because he said nobody is the boss of him. He refuses to wear his wedding band because he doesn't wear jewelry, but he gets highly offended if I don't wear my ring. We have no intimacy, and sex is the same without any passion, touches, or kisses. He gets zero compliments of any, he gives 0 compliments of any kind. There's nothing that's loving and supportive in terms of his words. Whenever we argue, he always throws up divorce. I don't know what to do. I've tried to talk to him, but it's like talking to a brick wall. He tells me that he loves me, but that I need to fix myself. Can our marriage be saved?
Wow. I mean, to me, that letter is a cry for help. And it's interesting, when I'm working with wives, and this is the story behind their relationship. Some of them are ready to go. Some of them, they're at the point where they feel like they've tried everything and they're ready to go and they need to figure out what to do to make a transition. Then there are others who they still have love, they still have the grace, they still have hope, and they really truly want to figure out, can I fix this? Can this work? And the truth in both cases is that you can fix you.
Can you say that again?
You can fix you, period. And, there are some red flags out here that I think that both men and women need to be able to look at and understand what's going on in their relationship, figure out who they're married to. Are you married to a narcissistic personality who is never going to change, who sees life from a different lens completely and totally? But I can't discourage somebody who has hope, right? Mm-hmm. I can't tell you, you need to leave this person yesterday. Let me come fly wherever you are and help you pack your bags right now. You can stay in my basement if you'd like, because you need to go, because everybody's in a different place, and you get there. You get there through working on yourself. so when you can't work on the other person, when the person isn't willing to work with you, then the best thing that you can do is get into some solid counseling for yourself so that you strengthen and start to notice some things within you and the deficits within you so that you can make better decisions about your life.
Absolutely. Can the marriage be saved? Yeah. But what about the relationship in the marriage? I mean, there's so many people who stay married and they're miserable and they're being held together by a string. Their marriage,
Yeah.
the legal document, you know, us being in the same household, us being legally attached, yeah, it's saved. But you have zero relationship. And who cares about a marriage if there's no relationship within the marriage? And so when you have an individual like this who still wants to be married, though he is extremely abusive, he's doing it because of how he benefits from the marriage. Right? Hot meal, right?
What else? Warm bed,
I'm saying.
warm thighs.
You talking about the chicken thighs or okay. Well, you understand what we're saying. Like
get that.
it's
The
a
marriage
one-way
is phenomenal.
transactional
Right.
relation or a one-way transactional marriage that serves one person and not the other.
Right.
And it's not mutually beneficial. And ultimately, that's what we're striving for. So if you stay married, listen, doing the same thing will get you the same thing. So why would you want the same thing? You've got to do something completely different to get something different. So insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. If you two do not go to couples counseling, if he does not go to individual counseling, if he's not transparent, if he's not willing to change and become a different version of himself, then it's not going to happen. Listen, guys, you're listening to the Couples Academy Show. We're going to get into some signs of a destructive relationship. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. Take that.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the Couples Academy Show, and we are talking about how to survive a D- relationship. And I know you saw that commercial. It was talking about the Moving Forward program, and this is a comprehensive 6-month program that takes you on a journey to restoration in your relationship. I don't care what level of crisis that you're in, you can move forward if you have the proper tools and support. And that's what we provide. 6 months of support online with modules. We hold your hands, group sessions, and retreats, which we are having one today. So we got a lot going on, guys. But I want to welcome you. Hey, JD, I see you this morning. Ladidra, good morning from Dallas, Texas. Rick Benet, thank you for tuning in from Ohio. Vashawn Edmondson, good morning, Chicago. Brandon from Oklahoma. Black Snow, hey, girl, from Colorado. Good to see your face. Debbie, good morning to you. Jody, DD, Harry, Torre, Lorraine, I'm gonna just run a whole bunch of names down. Hey, Bobby, how you doing today?
Hey, cousin.
And Takita. Okay, now I want to get to this comment here. Jaguar says, I avoided individual counseling because I was worried that if I got completely whole and healed, I would realize I didn't need to be in the marriage and end up divorcing him.
Wow.
Uh-oh. Let me tell you something. That is equivalent to taking a shovel, digging a very deep hole, jumping in it, and then pulling all the sand over you.
Wow.
Suffocation and death will follow. You can't heal or move forward in any relationship without dealing with the issues, right? So it's still there. It's like a festering wound. It's like an infection, right? That you've decided to ignore, because if you ever got healed and whole, you would actually take those scales off your eyes and see what you're really dealing with.
Wow.
I would say venture to get whole. And, you know, throw some caution to the wind and trust God to be able to be who he is and know how to move things and send the right message to your spouse, because if the marriage is worth saving, then you can save it. But I wouldn't say ignore it. I say look at all the details, get some support.
Absolutely. Wow. All right, guys, we're going to jump right into these signs. I think that that letter really articulated overwhelmingly the majority of signs that we could cover. And because we have 60, we're just going to just randomly pick those that, you know, to me, speak to what a lot of people are dealing with. So listen, my spouse speaks poorly about me to others, whether it be family, friends, neighbors, church folk. Often, sometimes, seldom, never. How would you answer that? How does your spouse speak about you? See, it's one thing when your spouse is speaking to you in a negative way, but when they speak about you to other people, they are shaping people's perspective, creating a reputation about you that is demeaning.
And they don't even have a chance to defend themselves. You know, you in your little silos in your corners talking about what he or she don't do. She always does this or she never does that. And now
Or
other
he.
people... She or he, right. And now other people have perceptions about you, and you never even knew. Why are they treating you a certain kind of way? Why are they avoiding you in all these things, right? So we've got to be careful about what we say about our spouse to other people, because when we forgive them, right, and move on, other people struggle to do that. They can't get out of their head what the person did to
That's
you
exactly
or
right.
said to you. So you got to be careful what you say.
And we say this all the time, that you have to stop sharing your problems with people who share your problems, because, you know, misery loves company. And oftentimes when we're talking negative about our spouse, it's not because we want positive encouragement and advice and prayer and insight and wisdom. We want somebody to vent with. And oftentimes you don't realize how you're destroying the foundation of your relationship when you always have something to say negative. And sometimes it's not what you say when they're not around. You take opportunities to expose them and to reprimand them, ridicule them in front of other people, which is very demeaning. Always saying something, doing something, making some type of face, sucking your teeth, rolling your eyes, and making it obvious that you have an issue with your partner, and you intentionally do it to put them on the spot. Very, very, very destructive. Very destructive.
Remember, we're going to change the name. Remember the
I already know where you're going.
Sybil syndrome?
Yes, I
Sybil
do.
syndrome, okay? The Sybil syndrome was basically, back in the day, we were in a marriage group, and Sybil would rise up every time she had the mic.
Every time.
To dog out her husband-to-be, who was in the room. It was very uncomfortable for all of us.
Very uncomfortable.
So please, y'all, don't have the Sybil syndrome. Don't find every opportunity to embarrass your spouse in front of other people by the words that you say, because you actually make other people feel uncomfortable, and it reveals some things about your character.
And if anybody has true insight, they start looking at you
That's
like
what I'm
you
saying.
crazy.
Literally, that's what I'm saying.
Like, why is this dude always talking about his wife? Why
Right.
is this woman always dragging out her
Right,
husband? Like,
but they start
what's
to
wrong
look
with
at
you?
your character like, oh boy, this is how she does this. Now you're the one that's being judged because of the way that you're presenting yourself in front of all of us. So you
There it
gotta be
is.
careful.
Let's go to the next one. My spouse breaks things around the house when he's angry or upset. Now, this is very common. We typically see this a lot in an affair.
They're not breaking my stuff.
I'm just saying. We see this during the discovery phase where the emotions are high. It's very volatile, and every reminder of anything about us forget. Listen. You better take down that wedding picture. You better hide those things that you've accumulated over the years that you consider to be valuable, because this is a season when that person is going ham. They're going for everything. And they will break things. They will slash tires. They will smash windows out of cars. They will do all types of stuff.
This is somebody that has significant anger issues. And a client of mine, a previous client who I love, and we're friends to this day, experienced that. And I mean, he also would drink as well. So he would get into a drunken rage, and he would literally go through the house and break everything, literally slashing pictures with razors, as you said, stabbing holes in tires, breaking dishes, and just terrorizing everything that mattered to the person. I mean, this is a F rated. This is an F minus marriage.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Beyond D minus, right? This is beyond. You need to do something to improve. You're in crisis and you need help immediately.
So if this is you guys, listen, I want you to self-assess and realize that you are doing damage. You're destroying the foundation of your relationship. Listen, we got one more break. We're going to go through a few more points, but we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on all of the crazy, the drama, the stuff that we deal with? We would love to hear from you. Be right back on the other side of this break. Couples Academy is expanding its team to meet the growing demand of people in need of help around the world. So if you're a trained, licensed, or certified expert in marriage enrichment, infidelity recovery, sex therapy, life coaching, cognitive behavioral therapy, divorce mediation, financial coaching, or family therapy, contact us today.
Hey guys, did you know that the Couples Academy team is expanding? We are so excited to have brought on a handful of very powerfully talented coaches to help you in diverse skill sets. So if you are struggling with things like sex addiction, alcohol addiction, and things of that nature, we got you. If you are looking for somebody to talk to your husband, because a lot of women that I talk to, their husbands, they don't have a coach, a counselor to speak to them, to pour into their lives. And just like we need counseling and we get what we need, our husbands need that too. We got you. We got all the support that you need. So we're super excited about our growing team. Also, I wanted to talk to you about the Enneagram. If you've never had your Enneagram done, what are you waiting for? It is the most comprehensive assessment you will ever take to understand who you are and why you are. Who you are and why you do the things that you do. And that is so powerful when it comes to working on your relationship, because now you get to express your truth to your spouse in a way that they can understand it and not feel attacked by it or judged by it. It's a powerful tool. We use it in our training and teaching here, and you can actually come and just get the assessment for yourself. Okay,
there it is.
Now we have a couple comments. Asani, jump to that.
LaShawn says, my husband always telling anyone and everyone about the negative things about me, and friend and family are all upset because we are still together. And see, this is what I'm saying. They looking at you like you crazy, like why in the world would you put up with such and such and such and such and such? That's why you really have to get your relationship together, figure it out, make the improvements, make the adjustments, heal, so that, listen, if your story's horrible, the story's not over. You can shift and change things, but you can't change anything if you do nothing. You have to do something to make it happen. And that kind of transitions into Rick's comment. I love reading this. Rick says, I forgot to put it up. Rick says, because of what I have been doing to fix me, I now realize that I made our marriage an F.
Wow.
I am having to answer these questions using the then and now scenario. My new approach to life is wonderful, painful, painless. I don't know.
Painful. I get what you're saying. And that I thank you for saying that, you know, by going through the process, you actually have been able to self-examine, right? And you realize that you made it an F, right? You didn't come on here and say, by going through the process, I realized that everything that my spouse did wrong and validates me and my bad behavior. And that's the point of going through counseling. You have to stop pointing the finger at the other person. You have to start to look at yourself. Once you draw a circle around your own 2 feet and get busy digging within and unearthing your mess, We all have mess. Why do we think that we don't have mess? You got to get busy unearthing your mess to be able to see how you are affecting your environment, okay? None of us are neutralizers. Every time we walk into the room, there's an effect. Every time we say something out of our mouth, there's an effect. When you put your hand on somebody, touch a shoulder, there's an effect. So if you know that you are such an effectual person, you need to understand how do you affect in your marriage. It's not always the other person.
There it is. I could have said that better myself. Let's jump into the next point. My spouse tells me I cannot tell anyone what happens between us. Often, sometimes, seldom, never. Now, oftentimes, now I get it to a degree because to the earlier point, you always talking about and exposing me and what's going on in the relationship. A lot of times it's done in a very destructive way.
Right.
So in that regard, I get it. Like, you don't need to be telling everybody in the street what's going on in us because it's only going to make them feel some type of way. However, there's got to be what we call an inner core, right? We call it the hub and spoke support model. Think about the wheel on your car. On that wheel, there is a hub in the middle, and then there are the spokes that come out from that hub. When you place yourself in the hub, in the circle, each spoke is a spoke of support for your marriage. You've heard this before. It takes a village to raise a what?
Family.
A child, didn't you?
Oh, child.
Drink some of that coffee. It takes a village to raise a child. Likewise, it takes a community to keep a marriage intact. So there's got to be someone outside of yourself that you go to. Now, the spoke can be a counselor. The spoke can be a spiritual leader, a pastor. The spoke can be another couple who you consider to be like a marriage mentor whom you can glean from. A spoke can be another couple who is in a healthy relationship. And so just being in their space and in their presence, it really inspires and encourages you. A spoke can be an individual in your life that you can share because they're not the one who's going to be like, girl, leave him. He ain't no good. I done told you you could do better all by yourself. Or you go to the guy, man, I told you, you the cream of the crop. You don't need this. You can get, no. You want to go to an individual that's going to pour into you, that's going to give you advice, that's going to correct you, that's going to challenge you, that's going to pray for you because they are friends of the marriage. So there's got to be someone or a small inner core group community outside of yourself, outside of your house, that you rely upon for support.
Absolutely. I think it's so funny you said the cream of the crop, right? But what are we using to identify this cream of the crop? Because you got a job, because you have finances and a business. What about your character?
There it is.
Nobody's talking about with this high value man conversation that's going around. I mean, I'm not calling nobody out, but I keep hearing about this high value man. And it's like, I mean, everywhere I turn, my clients are saying, their husbands are saying about they're a high value man and you don't know what you're missing, all this and that. And I'm like, but look at the character. You're lying. You're sneaking, you're unfaithful. Maybe you're unfaithful with the finances because you keep it from me and you don't tell me what's going on. I'm blind to your actions. I don't know you. You don't communicate with me or communicate well. You have bad thinking, bad language. You cuss every other word and you're not even angry. Like, I mean,
That's a bomb.
We're not dialing into the character of a person because if you are a broke joke with character, soon you'll be very wealthy because you have character. You're going to get up. You're going to have work ethic. You're going to people are going to trust you and they're going to extend opportunities to you because you're trustworthy. Like, character has to start to take the stage when we start talking about high value men and women. But I'm not hearing this conversation about high value women all going around. I hear this high value man and everything is about their wallet.
Well, I think everything you said was 1,000% correct and true. And we need to talk about this topic because it's a situation. Now, I will say, we don't typically use the term high value women, but there was a season, there was a time when women were like, I'm a good woman. Well, what makes you a good woman? I got my own job. I got my own house. I got my own money. I got my own this. And so their value was based upon possessions and money and what they could financially do. And I think that most people have it twisted.
Yeah.
And that's the problem because guess what? If you have material possessions, does that qualify you for a relationship?
No.
Does that mean that you're a healthy partner?
No.
Does that mean any of that?
None of
it
it.
doesn't.
No.
So let's just say by definition, by that worldly definition, you are a high value man or woman, but then you say I do. And then all hell breaks loose because they're missing everything you just
Can
said.
we just real quick talk about Tabitha Brown real quick, who had to read Wendy Williams when she was coming for her because she's been so blessed in her journey that she could allow her husband to leave that dangerous job as a police officer, not understanding, where did our camera go? Not understanding, right, that at the end of the day, they started from the bottom and now they're here. If you have character, you can start from the bottom and now you're here.
Yeah.
So stop thinking that you got to find somebody that's equal and matched to this and that and the third. Dial down, change your lenses, adjust your list, put character at the top. Character. That's what you're looking for.
And you've been listening to the Couples Academy show. I hope that you got something out of today. We are in part 3 of how to survive a D- marriage. We hope that you're getting these nuggets, that they make sense, that you begin to think about it, talk about it with your partner, so that you begin to shift and change the dynamic of your relationship. If character, to Danielle's point, isn't at the core, the crux and the foundation of your union, then anything can happen. And if anything has happened, you need to reach out to couplesacademy.org, set up a discovery call so we can figure out how we can work on the restoration of your relationship. Guys, we love you, we appreciate you, and we will see you soon. Take care.